Hello everyone and welcome to my Archlinux install tutorial. Today we will be installing Archlinux on a virtual machine. The installation process will be the same, minus a couple of details for a non-virtual machine. So here we go. First you open VirtualBox. By the way, this is Archlinux that I'm running here. I'm using the deep-in window desktop manager. Archlinux has a great many different desktop managers that you can choose from, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to call my virtual machine Archie, and you can see that it already chose Archlinux 64-bit. I'm going to put my RAM up to 4096 megabytes. That's 4 gigabytes. Next. Okay, for the size, I'm going to make it 100 gigs. Whoops, not 1001. Alright, so the base machine is created. Now we just have to set it up. For the system memory, that's enough. I'm going to give it a dual-core processor. For the display, I'm going to give it as much video memory as it can do. I'm going to enable 3D acceleration. This is just stuff that I like to do in mine. And now you have to choose the ISO. You can get these ISOs at archlinux.org, their website. Just download them. I don't believe 32-bit is supported any longer, so you might have to use an older version if you're running a 32-bit machine. Alright, so that machine is set up. Now we can go ahead and start it up. So you'll be greeted with this menu here. You'll want to hit the top option. See if I can make it any bigger for you. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so when you boot into a live ISO of Archlinux, you will be greeted with this terminal screen. Just a blank terminal. This is how you install Archlinux. Luckily, Archlinux provides install documentation with the operating system itself. Now there are some things that you're going to need to go to the website for, such as the Grub bootloader or any other bootloader if you don't know how to set it up already. That documentation is not included. But what they do have is this handy dandy little arch install.txt file that we'll go ahead and read with Nano. And this is the exact same tutorial that they have on their website. So if you would rather use the website, that's just fine. I'm just doing this because I'm going to assume that maybe you're installing it on a machine that has no internet connection at the moment, or in this case you won't really have a very good web browser, although you could use links. But anyway, let's get started here. So the first thing you want to do is verify your boot mode. This keyboard layout's fine for me, so I'm not going to mess with that. You come down here and you use this command to verify your boot mode. If you get output, if you get any kind of output, then you are in EFI mode. If you get the output no file or directory found or something like that, then you are not booted in UEFI mode, you're booted in BIOS. And that will change a couple steps in the installation process for you. So I know I'm not UEFI, so I won't mess with that. Next we'll come down here and check for our internet connection using ping. So I'll go ahead and use Alt F2 to open up another terminal here. And I'll just log it in as root. And I'll ping 3 packets to archlinux.org. Alright, so we have a good connection. As you can see, I've transmitted 3 packets, received the 3 packets, and I have lost 0% of my packets. That is a good connection. Now we'll go back over and see what the next step is. After you verify your internet connection, you're going to want to use this command here to make sure that your system clock is accurate. See? So it's just time date control set NTP true. Alright. After that, you're going to want to partition your hard drive. You can use F disk. I prefer CF disk. It doesn't really matter what you use. But for this tutorial, I will be using CF disk. And also, I'll just list out all my devices here. I have Loop, SDA, and SR0. I'm going to be using SDA. Everything else is part of the live medium here. So to do that, you just type CF disk /dev/SDA. I'm going to choose DOS just to make it easier on me. GPT is actually the newer version of this kind of stuff, so you might want to use GPT, but for this I'm going to use DOS. So we'll create a new partition. I'm going to make my swap partition 4 gigs. Oops. There we go. Next will be the root partition. I'll go ahead and make that 30 gigs. Next is the home partition, and we'll just go ahead and take up the rest of the space with the home partition. Now we have to change the type. Oops. We have to change the type of the swap to an actual swap partition. The rest of these can stay the same, but you will want to make your root partition bootable, because that's where Grub's going to go, or any other bootloader you choose. So we'll go ahead and write that out to the disk. Alright. Now I'm going to list out my devices again, and you can see that they are all formatted. You see the dev SDA1, SDA2, and SDA3. Let's see, I'm pretty sure you mount them next for install. Oh, I'm sorry, you format them. Duh. So what you want to do for formatting is you want to just make swap for your swap. You want to give it the partition number, so that's SDA1 for swap. Now for the other ones, I'm going to use an ext4 file system. So you go mkfs.ext4/dev/SDA2. That's my root partition. And now you want to go mkfs.ext4 for your home partition. Alright, so now they're partitioned and formatted. Now the next step will be to mount the partitions. So as you can see, we have SDA 1, 2, and 3. You want to mount dev SDA 2, because that's your root, to MNT. And that's going to be, MNT is going to be your root directory. You want to make a home directory in your root directory. So you go make directory MNT/home, and that's going to make a mount directory for your home partition. And you want to go ahead and mount your home partition onto the home directory. So now if you list everything, you'll see that the SDA2 is mounted to MNT, and SDA3 is mounted to MNT/home. Now we'll go ahead and turn our swap on and give it the partition number. And now you can see that swap is on and everything's mounted correctly. Now we're going to use the pack strap. Let's just make sure we're following this. I'm not getting ahead of myself here. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. If your internet connection's slow, or you're in another country, you might want to edit this file with Nano to select the mirror that's the fastest for where you're at. I don't tend to usually have to do this because it installs just fast enough for me. But if something's going very slow, if it's installing slowly or downloading slowly, you'll want to edit this and choose the mirror that is fastest for you. Okay, so Yep, now we use the packstrap script to install the base system. And that's going to be packstrap/mnt, which is the root partition. We're going to want to install the operating system to the root partition. And we're going to install the base. We're also going to install the base development. Alright, this part can take a little while. You just sit back and let it do its thing. I'll go ahead and edit this part out so you don't have to sit through it, and I'll come back when it's done. Alright, and we are back. The installation seems to have succeeded. If you don't see something similar to this, then your installation probably didn't go that well. I mean, I've never really had a problem with packstrap, but it should look like something like this after it's completely done installing the base system. So let's see what we do next. Alright, so we've installed the base system using the packstrap install script. Now we'll come down here and we'll go ahead and generate our fstab file. Now the fstab file is where all of your partition information is stored, and your operating system needs that to know what, where the bootloader is, what to boot first, and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and generate that using this command here. So gen fstab -U mnt, and we'll use these greater than symbols to funnel the output into this file here. Alright, so the fstab has been generated. Now you can go ahead and change root into the new system. So with Arch, it's Arch root mnt. And you can see the prompt changed a little bit the way it looks there, so you can see that we're into the new system. Alright, and we'll go ahead and come back down here, and now you do your time zone. So you'll want to link this file here, whatever it is for you, it'll be different depending on where you live, to your etc local time file. And I'll go ahead and show you what's in these files here. So if you go to cd user share zone info, you can see that all the countries are listed here. You have America, Antarctica, Japan, all the different countries, and all these are directories. And in each directory is the cities of those countries. As for me, I'm in America, so I will use the America directory and I will choose whatever city corresponds to my time zone. So we'll ln-sf/user/share/zone-info/America/Denver, and we'll link that to etc/local time. Alright, now we'll go ahead and sync the hardware clock. It'll generate this file here. So that's HW clock --sys to hardware clock. Alright. Next we'll go ahead and we'll set up our locales. To do that, you want to edit this file here using nano. So it's nano/etc/locale.gen. And you'll go all the way down. It's a big long list. You'll just have to go all the way down until you find your language. Obviously I speak English, so I will go down here to where it says EN for English, and I'll look for US. So here's the United States, EN US UTF-8. Uncomment it, and then save and exit. Now you use locale-gen to go ahead and -gen to generate the locale file. Okay, so after that You can do this by editing this file and putting this variable in there, but I don't really need to do that because my keyboard's set up just fine. So we'll go ahead and move on to the host name. So to create the host name, you can echo whatever host name you want into this file here, like so. I'm going to name mine Archie, so I'll say echo Archie to etc/hostname. Let me just make sure I have that right, the path right. Yep, etc hostname. Alright, and then you also might want to set it up here in this file called etc hosts. So what you do there is you just edit that with nano. Oh, and I forgot one step. We actually have to come up here and set our lang variable. So to do that is very simple. You just echo lang equals us utf dot what was it? No, it's, let me see what it was. It was en us.utf8 for me. So it was en us.utf-8. You want to echo that into your locale.configuration file. Okay. Now we can go ahead and set up our hosts file here. So you just edit that with nano. Say nano/etc/hosts. And you can just enter in 127.0.1.1. My host name is Archie.local domain, and we'll go ahead and put Archie as the host name there, and exit nano. Alright, and we are actually almost done here. If you have any special configurations, then you might want to modify this file. I've never done it, so I'll leave that up to you. Decide if you want to do that. Now you can set the root password. So we'll say passwd and enter in whatever password you want. Alright, now the root password is set. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and set up our bootloader. Unfortunately, there's no bootloader documentation included in this txt file. So if you don't know how to set up the bootloader you want, or you don't know what bootloader to get, there's a list of bootloaders on the Archlinux website. In the there's actually a link to it in the install documentation. So I'll put a link to this document that's on the website. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and use grub. So all you do to do grub is you just I'm going to make sure that I still have an internet connection here. Alright, and I do. So what you do now is you use the Pacman package manager to install grub, and you also want to download OS Prober. So just wait for that to install. Shouldn't take too long. Alright, so now grub is installed. Just the package is installed though. You actually still have to install the bootloader itself to the partition that you want it. So to do that with grub, we'll go ahead and use grub install. But yours might be a little different, so I'm going to show you a cool trick. You can use the manual, the man command, to look at all the documentation for this command. And you're going to want to come all the way down here to where it says targets, or target. And you can see all the different options. I'm going to use the i386 PC option for target. But if you're using a UEFI system, first you would want to have had an extra partition in your partition table called EFI system. of type EFI system, then you would want to use this x86-64-EFI option as your target. But I'm just going to use the basic i386. So you say grub install target equals i386-PC, and we're going to install that to the dev SD8. You do not have to put a number, a partition number. It'll figure out which one is bootable and install it to that. So go ahead and do that. Oops, I misspelled target. Target. There we go. So let that install, and now you have to generate the grub configuration file. And to do that, you just say grub-mk-config-o/boot/grub.cfg, and that will generate your configuration file for grub. And at this point you're done. You can actually exit out of your system and unmount all your partitions, swap off, and now you just reboot the system. And you'll come back to this menu here. Now instead of choosing the top option, you're going to want to choose boot existing OS, because you actually have Arch installed already. For someone on an actual computer not using VirtualBox, all you have to do is just unplug whatever medium that you used to install it, and it'll actually come straight here to the bootloader. And you can see that the Arch system is booting up just fine. Alright, and there's the Archie login. So I'm just going to log in as root, enter the password that I chose, and there it is. The system is actually installed on your hard drive, and that's all there is to it. It's actually a very simple process once you figure out all the steps. Thanks for watching. For the next video, I will show you how to put a GUI and make it all user-friendly and nice to look at instead of just this black screen, but that'll be for next time. Anyway, thanks for watching.